Think of machine learning like a smart assistant that figures out your morning routine. Instead of programming exactly what time your alarm should go off and which news app to open, the computer observes your habits over time, spots the patterns, and starts doing it for you. To build those kinds of smart systems, data scientists rely heavily on three specific techniques: classification, regression, and clustering. If you are preparing for the Azure AI-900 certification, these three concepts are going to make up a large portion of your exam questions. Microsoft tests your ability to match real-world business problems to the right mathematical solution. If you know exactly which of these three buckets a scenario falls into, you can answer those questions easily. Imagine a librarian shelving a massive cart of new books. Based on the content, they decide if it belongs on the fiction or nonfiction shelf. That is classification. This relies on a process called supervised learning. You teach the computer by feeding it thousands of examples that already have the correct answers attached, so it can learn how to predict those categories on its own. Look at this scatter plot. The computer's job is to analyze the data and draw a strict boundary line right through the middle, separating one type of data from the other. You see this every time you open your email. The filter checks the words in a message and drops it into either your inbox or your spam folder. Doctors use it to classify patient risk, and banks use it to verify the numbers on handwritten checks. Inside Azure Machine Learning Studio, you build these systems using a tool called two-class logistic regression. Anytime your end goal is to output a specific category, a label, or a simple yes or no decision, you need a supervised classification model. Now picture trying to guess a pizza's exact delivery time. You would calculate the distance, factor in current traffic, and come up with an estimate. Unlike our librarians sorting books into distinct categories, regression predicts a continuous number. On this coordinate graph, the computer takes all of the past historical data and draws a trend line to forecast exactly where the next point will land. Real estate apps use this logic to estimate that a house is worth exactly $250,000 based on its location and square footage. Investors use it to forecast stock prices, and farmers use it to estimate their crop yields based on rainfall. Azure includes a feature called automated machine learning, which builds regression models to predict things like next month's revenue. If the scenario asks for an amount, a price, a temperature, or any continuous numerical value, your solution is regression. What if you have a huge pile of laundry with no tags? You sort it purely by looking at the natural groupings of colors. This introduces unsupervised learning. You hand the computer a massive pile of raw data without any labels or instructions and ask it to make sense of the mess. Watch how this cloud of scattered data points naturally drifts into tight groups. Streaming services like Netflix use this to group viewers who have similar watch histories. Retailers segment their buyers to send targeted ads, and hospitals use it to track unusual clusters of symptoms. Inside Azure Machine Learning Studio, an algorithm called K-means handles this sorting process for you. When you are presented with a massive unlabeled dataset and asked to find its inherent structure or segments, the answer is unsupervised clustering. This table breaks down everything we have covered into a simple, actionable guide. Predicting a category requires classification. Guessing an exact number requires regression. Finding unlabeled groups requires clustering. As you take the AI-900 exam, you will likely encounter a specific question designed to test if you confuse numbers with categories. If a question asks you to predict high, medium, or low risk, look at these three buckets. Even though risk sounds like a measurable amount, these are fixed, separate labels. That means it is a classification problem, not a regression problem. Always look at how the data arrives. Classification and regression are supervised, meaning they learn from labeled examples. Clustering is unsupervised, meaning it finds patterns in unlabeled data. Lock in these distinctions, take the official Microsoft Learn practice quizzes, and you will be in great shape to pass the exam.